Hi, welcome to the Practical Prophetic. I am Prophet Shannon, and I just wanted to take some time to introduce myself and to also just share a bit about my prophetic journey. Everyone's prophetic journey is so very different, and I just wanted to share mine to kind of help those who are, I guess, maybe you just learned you were a prophet, or you're kind of in that space where you're trying to decide whether or not you want to accept it, or maybe you just, the prophetic is just a little overwhelming. And, the whole prophetic thing it's a lot. It's a lot. Let me just be honest. And so I just wanted to share the practical aspect of the prophetic. There's the prophetic it can be deep. It can be a lot. And unfortunately, in this day and time, it's been um, a bit murky. We'll put it that way. There's lots going on. We've seen lots of faults, um, lots of fake, where people are just not genuine, not authentic. And, a lot of prophets can come across as either holier than thou, mean, um, like they, unapproachable, um, like they just are all high and mighty. And I will say a true prophet of God, first of all, and first and foremost, they love God, they fear God, and they love his people. So, anyway, we'll get more into that at another time. So, how did I know I was a prophet? Let's just go real basic. Let's go right there. So, I'll go back as far as childhood. Yes, we're going to go back that far. I always knew I was different. I never really quite fit in with the in crowd. Um, I was very, very quiet, very shy. Um, yeah, I just stuck out like a sore thumb. I did not have very many friends at all. Um, I was teased a whole lot, left out a whole lot. Um, yeah, so fast forward, I would say around college. Now I won't say I was a recluse. Like I had a few friends here and there, but as far as being popular, I was not. But I think once I got to college, um, I was not saved. Let me put it that way. I did not grow up in church. I was not saved. My family did not go to church regularly. I didn't even know what a prophet was until later. I didn't fool with God. Okay. That's just how far away I was. I didn't fool with God. To me, I grew up as, God was this evil, mean, big old something that would get you if you did something bad. So I did not hear the word prophet until 20 something. I know, right? Um, but looking back at my life, I could see where God was preparing me to be a prophet, to walk in that mantle. So, um, I get to college. I ended up in a cult, y'all. Uh, I ended up in a cult. Um, and I think it was called the Atlanta Church of Christ. Yes, I'm saying the name. If you're in it, get out. Uh, get out. It was a cult. And this was when I was in college, my first college, because I got kicked out. That's another story for another day. So I got kicked out of that college where I was in the cult. And when I finally got free of that cult, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with church or God. No Jesus, no nothing. Matter of fact, they didn't even talk about Jesus. They talked about God. It wasn't until I think, what year was that? The planes hit the towers. That's when I got interested in church because that scared me. And I remember I had my own apartment, and this was when I was in my second college because I got kicked out of my first one. Um, I I kept the Bible. The cult had a Bible. Go figure. I kept that Bible, but it was stuffed in my drawer. And I remember riding by this little Baptist church, and I didn't know God. I just felt like drawn to that church. I didn't understand it was Holy Spirit. I didn't understand any of that. So I started going to this Baptist church, and I started reading the book of Revelations. Of all books to read, that's what I decided to read. And of course, it scared me enough to go to go to church. But strangely enough, in this little small Baptist church, I felt like that's where I was supposed to be. So in my second college in this church, I meet my husband, and we start going there, consistently and faithful. And we got married there, and I'm fast forwarding through a lot of stuff. We got to a point where we're like, man, there's got to be more to God than this. And so we left the Baptist church and started going to a larger church. Now, this church blessed me. We were there for 15 years. I will say I got the foundation of the Word of God in me. And I learned so much about the Word, about God, about Jesus. I served in several different ministries and several different capacities. But I started getting this feeling like, this is good, but I feel like I'm missing something. Now, mind you, I was so used to being different that I didn't really pay attention to the fact that, as a prophet, as you mature, or even before, sometimes depending on how in tune you are, you realize that people are a little different around you, and you get used to it because to you it's a natural thing, but to them they can't quite figure you out. So they either love you or hate you. They love to see you coming or they love to see you leaving. But I remember in the dawn of Facebook, am I telling y'all my age yet? I connected with these group of ladies, and one of them said, "Prophetess Shannon, da 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 da." I was like, "Prophetess? What's that? Why she called me that?" Now, another thing as a prophet, a real one, a genuine, you will say things and you don't even know. You can be prophesying and speaking things and telling people stuff about themselves, about whatever, and you just know things and you just say it. And to you, it's nothing, but to them, they're like, "What the heck? How do you know?" And I guess it must have been one of those moments. And I was like, "Well, what is that?" And therein lies my journey. I started doing research. What is a prophet? And I found Colette Toach, shout out to Apostle Colette Toach, their original ministry, AMI. They had all these blog posts at the time about what a prophet is. And the posts I found started talking about, the different things you go through in your childhood. And I was sitting there, I read and read and read and read, and I was dumbfounded. I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this why I've been tortured my whole childhood? This is why I stuck out everywhere? This is why this, and this is why I have all these dreams, and why I just know stuff and nobody likes me, and da da da." Like, I just had this moment of, oh my God, it all makes sense now. And I don't even think I really started hearing God until around that time. It was, I would say, 2012 to 2017, with 2017 being the most pivotal year of my prophetic journey. Like my life was flipped completely upside down because my eyes were open. And I remember I was like, okay, prophet, this sounds like what I am, prophet. And I go to Facebook, of all places, and I type in search prophet. Yo, I shouldn't have done that. I remember looking at these pictures, and yeah, I think this is some years ago, but some of them still look the same. But I was looking at all these pictures and these posts, and some of these flyers and pictures, they look like obituaries, and it was crazy. And I was like, nope, I don't want that. No, thank you, Lord. I don't want no parts of that. No, I do not want to be that. Do not. I don't know. And so I put it aside. I was like, there is no way I'm touching this with a 10-foot pole. And I remember sitting at my desk one day and I heard, daughter, if you don't accept this, you will not grow in it. First of all, I don't want to grow. I didn't want to grow in it. I wanted no parts. But over that time, I've grown to love the Lord. I've grown to love Jesus. I've grown to love the Word. Uh, the book of John would make me cry because I would just feel the love of the Lord through the book of John. And so I got to the point where I couldn't say no. That was a setup. I know God was sending me up. It was a total setup. And I said yes. I said, okay. So I started reading books and articles and blog posts and reading more books and more books. And I read till I couldn't. Well, I love books. I can always read. I'd rather buy books than go shopping um, for clothes. And the more I read and understood, it brought so much peace because I started to understand who I was and why I was and what that looked like. But then I also found out I was a seer. I'm a seer. I see. Now, all seers are prophets, but not all prophets see. So I see. And so the dreams and I can see a person, but see what's behind or in the person, so to speak. And all seers see differently. It started for me in my dreams. And I feel like God used my dreams, the dream world, to help me to understand Him, how He speaks, the spirit realm. Um, and then I kind of graduated, and I would like travel, if we can put it simply, in my dreams. I remember going to Africa and seeing certain things happen. Um, and so from there, He sent. Now, here's the thing with the prophetic journey, it is not cut dry. It is amazing looking back over my journey, how God used different people. So the church I was in for 15 years, they don't deal with the prophetic at all. So I'm in this church. I had to go off and learn all this stuff on my own. But God used Facebook, of all things, to teach me so much. And so He connected me to different prophets, real ones, different apostles. Um, I remember my brother, Prophet Roger King, God rest his soul. He taught me so much. He took me under his wing, and we used to do what was called popcorn prophecy. And he taught me how to prophesy. My girls at the time were little, and I remember one night, one of them was just hanging all over me, and he was like, okay, I want you to prophesy to such and such. And I'm like, I can't because the girls are all over the place. He's like, good, this will teach you how to focus when things are going crazy around you. And so he used different things like that. God used different groups where we would practice with each other. And, it was a safe space to prophesy to each other. And, you would get confirmation. You would learn what to say, what not to say. And so it was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and it helped so much. And so now, I there's been a lot of pushback. Now, as a prophet, if you don't know, you are not going to always be received well, especially seers. I have been in places, in churches, where because I could see the leaders would kind of try to push me aside or kind of shut me up. And I noticed that in prophets, when God sends you somewhere, it's kind of twofold. You gonna get something out of it, but He usually probably sending you in there so you can shake some stuff up. God uses His prophets as disruptors, and we go in, and sometimes you don't even know what you're doing. You just showed up. Sometimes all you gotta do is show up, and, and stuff just starts flying. Um, but we expose, and sometimes you don't even know that's what you're doing. And so I've been in situations and places where I've exposed, and all I did was show up. And fast forward some years, being in another church, prophets were intercessors first and foremost. We sit in the council of God, and we also intercede. So when the Lord is showing you or telling you something, 9 times out of 10, you're supposed to pray. We are government entities, I guess I can put it that way. Our prayers, our words carry weight. So when you pray, when you decree and you declare, there are things shifting and happening in the atmosphere and in the environments you are in. And when you put a prophet on, and especially a seer on the intercessory team, yeah, if you don't want your dirt exposed, you don't want to have them there. Needless to say, um, the Lord had me in a situation like that, and they didn't heed the warnings, and so He snatched me out. My point is, true, genuine prophets, you must embrace the fact that you are different. Now, well, some people think you're weird. Sometimes I am weird. I don't know. I'm at the point where I don't even care. We're just different. We're just different. I can be in a room full of people and I'll clock out. I will go off. I went somewhere. And, but that's the nature of a prophet. We're so in tune with the spirit realm that sometimes I'll check out of the people around me to tune in to the spirit realm, to what are you saying, Lord? What's going on? It's kind of like listening in both places. And for people who don't understand prophets, they'll think we're a little cuckoo. Actually, I'm not cuckoo. I'm just in tune with my surroundings. Um, Sometimes we can be in places and an assignment will come up. I gotta go talk to this person. I gotta go tell this person something, and it's the nature. When you are a true prophet, real prophets, authentic prophets, you can't stop being a prophet. It's who you are. Your very being, your mannerisms, your day-to-day life, it's not something you pretend to be. You are. You hear God. You feel. A lot of people are feelers. I feel, see, and hear all of it. Um, so I can hear demonic conversations, demonic laughter. I can hear witches. I can hear angels. Um, of course, I hear the Lord. I can see through people. I can be talking to a person and the Lord will show me what's going on the inside of them. Now, let me preface this by saying it's not all the time, but a lot of times. And as you grow and mature, you learn how to work with it. You learn how to function with it so that you don't feel like you're consumed. I used to be at a place where I could not stand being in public places for very long because I could feel so much. Now, I do have my moments where, you know, after a while, I got to go. It's too much going on. I remember doing 2020. There was something going on, riots or something, and also COVID. And I remember going to the grocery store and I walked by a police officer and I felt all the chaos and the stuff he was feeling. And then just being in the grocery store and I felt everybody's fear and worry, and I about lost it. I had to hurry up and get out of there. And once I got home, I just sat in my car in the garage and just cried. I couldn't, it was too much. And from then on, my husband started doing the grocery shopping. But as prophets, it's not about a show. It's not about a performance. It's not about, look at me, look at me, look at me. People like that, to me, you have lost your first love. You've taken your eyes off of him and you've started looking at what the people want instead of what he is calling you to do, to say. For me, I could care less about a microphone. I don't want a microphone. I like to go do what I gotta do, whatever the assignment is. If I have to say something to someone, I do that and I'm good. But that's me. Now, some people are called to that, and that's all well and good. But I'm not chasing it. You don't chase platforms. That's not what true prophets do. Your first priority, we are owned by God. He has told me several times, daughter, your life is not your own. So I can't go everywhere I want to go. I can't be everything somebody thinks I should be. I can't say what you want me to say because it makes you feel good. I have to stand before the Lord. I fear him. Therefore, I'm going to obey him. And if you don't like it, you need to take it up with him. I'm just a messenger. But my first obligation is to him. And every prophet, you know, the more you spend time with the Lord and sit in his counsel, what's been the greatest blessing to me is that he trusts me. He's even told me, daughter, I trust you. God, the creator of all things, telling me that he trusts me is greater than any platform or any amount of money somebody can dangle in my face. And I believe wholeheartedly that that is why God takes his prophets through such long, seemingly grueling processes. And the issue is a lot of people try to abort the process. Stay in the fire. Stay in the process. Stay in the wilderness. My God, it hurts. Absolutely. It is the most painful thing I've ever been through. But being on this side and looking back, I am so grateful. I'm grateful for the squeezing. I'm grateful for the tears. I'm grateful for the betrayal. What's the word say? It is good that I was afflicted, even though at the time I was like, this is some mess. But I have learned and grown so much. And, you know, I can look at things. And if anything, it's given me more love and patience and mercy towards people. And if you think about it, that's how God is with us. And so, if you're a prophet, please take heart. If nobody knows who you are, that is wonderful. Stay there. If it seems as if no one's paying attention to you, great. Stay there. We have the attention of heaven, and that's what matters most. And you have to come to the fact that Whatever it is you carry and you have to say, God knows who needs it, and you need to allow Him to do that. Now, a lot of that requires your obedience, hence me doing this video. Because again, I like to mind my business, and I like hiding. Okay, I confess it. I admit I don't need to be out in the open. I'm good. I'm good where give me a good book and leave me alone. I am great. Give me my little assignments. I'm good. Trust me, the enemy knows who I am. And that's enough because I'm an intercessor and a seer. The warfare ain't no joke. I don't need extra. I'm good. But my point is, prophets, don't try to push, force anything. Don't succumb to the social media mess of likes, feeling like you gotta say something. No, trust me, when you make up stuff or try to come up with stuff, it does more harm than good. Our job as prophets is to equip the saints, ready them, teach them for the coming of the Lord, teach them how to war, teach them to go to Him, not us. So do that. Stay in your lane. You don't want to invite unnecessary warfare. Trust me, just being a prophet alone is enough warfare. You don't want to go trying to cross over into other stuff and inviting extra. Be okay. Yes, I know it hurts. I know, I know, I know. The squeezing, the pressing, the wilderness, the being stripped of things. I've been stripped of a lot. You don't even know the half. Um, the being set apart, the loneliness, the betrayal, the seeing things that you don't want to see, hearing things that you don't want to hear, knowing things about people, knowing things that people have said about you, but still showing love. I know all about that. And yes, you will make it. Yes, you can do it. I know it hurts, but with God, all things are possible. And the thing is, the best thing, I'm so grateful, is that instead of all of that pushing me away, it drove me closer to Him. It made me cling to Him. Um, I'm just so grateful that I'm so aware of Him. I'm aware of His presence. I'm aware of His voice, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for every secret. I'm grateful for everything He shows me. I'm grateful for every word He gives me. That is the reward of being a prophet. That is the reward of being a faithful prophet who reverences and fears the Lord and loves His people. That is the reward of biting your tongue when you could absolutely slay somebody. Um, it's the reward of, when you're around and people act a certain way because of their insecurities towards you, and all you did was show up at this, sometimes, it can hurt. But when I think about the reward of my Lord being with me and hearing Holy Spirit and Him truly being my friend, it makes it all worth it. It makes it. But in order for you to even get to that point, you must learn to love Him, to surrender to Him completely, complete abandon, surrender, just utter death to self. I tell you now, die, okay? Die to yourself. Die to what you think your journey should look like. Die to what you think others are going to think of you. Die to your own expectations, die to people pleasing, you know, just die. The sooner you die, the more you'll move, the more you'll grow. Um, yeah. So, with all that being said, I received a prophetic word some years ago, and I was told that God calls me a prophet to prophets. And I remember when I received that word, I was like, God, I don't even know how to be a prophet. And lo and behold, here we are now. He gives me the ministry, the Practical Prophetic. And even though I absolutely love the deep things of God and the deep things of the prophetic and all of this, none of that matters if you don't know the practical, if you don't know how to apply it. It's okay that I know the Nabi and the seer and the, I'm not going to butcher that word. If I know all these things, but I'm standing before this person and I'm seeing this and the Lord is having me deal with this person, how do I apply knowing this stuff when I'm standing in front of somebody? How important is that? I gotta go, and the Lord wants me to start this ministry, or I'm connected to these people. I need to know, how do I do this? What does this look like? How do I give a prophetic word? What should I or should I not say? How do I minister? You know, what do I do with the things I hear and see and dream? That's the practical. You know, it's good to know all these big words and all of this stuff, but if you don't know what to do and apply it, you know. So that is the goal of the Practical Prophetic. It is a company of prophets and prophetic people, you know, where you can come and ask all the questions, big, small, deep or not, where you can share a prophetic word. Hey, because the prophets are subject to the prophets. I feel like I heard this. You know, what do y'all think? Does this resonate? I don't understand this. I had this dream. What do I do with it? That's what the Practical Prophetic is for. It's a company of prophets and prophetic people where we can help each other, serve each other, get equipped, get what we need, and go out to do what God has called us to do. We meet via Google Meets on Thursdays. And it's just to sometimes there's a topic we'll discuss, and sometimes it's just to talk about what we need to talk about. It's hard for prophets to find people who truly understand what they're dealing with and what they're going through. And I know I had to learn a lot on my own. And so I wanted to provide a space for people to kind of help navigate this journey. It's not an easy one. And sometimes you can feel extremely alone, like nobody else understands the depth of what you're going through. And sometimes the only other person who can understand that is a prophet and apostle. But we'll talk about that another time. So join us. We have the Practical Prophetic Lab, and that's a Facebook group, and that's where all this wonderful stuff happens. So join us. Come, get what you need, share what you got. If you have questions, please, I'm willing to answer any questions that you may have for me, about your own journey. I don't mind. I'm on Facebook, Practical Prophetic. Again, my name is Shannon Taylor. We're also on Instagram. Yeah, so look us up, join us. And I really truly pray that my quirky little story helped you a little. I'm quite sure I'll be back soon, since this is the other thing. This is something the Lord has me stepping out on, you know, for someone who likes to hide in cameras. Again, I don't need it, but I'm being obedient. So, see, that's another lesson. The Lord has you all outside your comfort zone. He didn't ask about our comfort. That's not his main concern. So, Anyway, so stay tuned, subscribe, like, share. There will be more videos coming. I think the next one he's prompted me to do is on being misunderstood, and that's a huge one. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I pray that this blesses you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. God bless you. Bye bye.